I would gladly talk over you with you.
Yeah,
I loved it.
I
I
honestly
thought it
love
was
it.
great. I had a smile when I saw Calendar Man because I exactly knew who that was in the beginning. Um, uh, Let me just break this down here. Minus the visuals, the looks, which is all amazing and great. I did love that.
Yeah,
I love the characters and the story.
the characters. Yeah,
And
exactly. The characters and the story are the best thing about.
yeah, yeah. And what I was trying to tell Joe is that what he did with the Guardians works for the Guardians. Okay. What he did with Suicide Squad being rated R, being a little bit more hardcore, being more what's the word I'm looking for?
Brutal,
Anyway, what's that?
more brutal, maybe you think, or
Yeah,
yeah, visceral.
uh,
That's
uh, yeah, that's it. Had to do it with a team of supervillains. That was my major gripe with the other Suicide Squad. Case in point, Bloodsport and Deadshot. They basically the same people. Okay, I know the story. He didn't want to step on disrespect Will Smith character of it, and he want to do his own thing.
yeah.
This is what I loved about this Suicide Squad and what I hate about the other one. Deadshot. Soon as I heard it was Will Smith, I knew it was going to happen. Will Smith, for some reason,
Is gonna
cannot be a bad person.
Will Smith
Be a bad person.
Is gonna Will Smith it.
Yes,
That's what.
yes, yeah. So you try to convince me, and I seen. Did you see Suicide Squad, the animated feature?
Uh, Wait, is that the one where Deadshot kills Waller at the end, or is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's two. There's that one, and there's the one where they were chasing the whole immortality thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I didn't.
can't
I was
think.
talking about the first one. Yeah, the
Yeah,
first one. I didn't see
yeah,
the
the first
second
one.
one. That's
Yeah,
the second one. Harley Quinn and Deadshot get it on. Yeah.
yeah.
So you try to tell me this trained assassin who can no mind killing for money is a great dad and got a heart of gold. I'm just looking like, why are you insulting my intelligence like this? He's taking his daughter Christmas shopping and all this stuff, and the Batman comes in, and and, and that's the thing. They try too hard to tell you that these people are villains, but they're
But
not doing anything
it's
villainous.
the idea is that you need that. Yeah, it's. I think the idea is that you need to humanize someone in some sort of way if you're gonna care about him as a viewer. That's and for Deadshot, they had to go that route. I mean, like, there's nothing basically about him that is likable except that he's a father. I guess it's.
Yes, yes. And that's why, like, what James Gunn did with Bloodsport, because I was worried when he talking to his daughter. I'm like, but then it just like, there you go.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, the first once they got like, okay, you're visiting here, and then they got a picture of the daughter. I was like, oh dear.
Yeah, see, I
So
was
he's
like that too.
basically and honestly, Bloodsport basically does what Deadshot does as superhero as superpowers. So like you're just replacing the name. That's it. But no,
They basically did. Yeah,
him being a crappy father, but still kind of cares about the daughter because who kind of and I like
to me that was more believable though. That's
yeah.
believable because he was trained to be a killer, and that's no emotions and everything like that. And it's like you said, your mom surprised this on me, so I'm not who you think I am, and stuff like that. And then over time, it lets you see that he does care about something.
Yeah,
That's how you do it. He's still a trained killer. Because
it's
the other second point that I like is that when all the people was controlled by Starro, they start swarming him. He just he do what he naturally do. He start killing them.
yeah.
That's what he
It's
does.
like
Yeah.
it kind of like he hesitated. He hesitated for like a
Hmm.
millisecond. It's like it
Yeah.
didn't
Okay.
even. It's just like taking considering if he's gonna die or he's gonna kill them. He just you can see it. You can see him thinking about it, but it doesn't even take a full second because like you know what? It's them or me. I'm just gonna and he's just destroyed. And
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
honestly, he did actually. It's the and then it's perfect placement by Waller saying, "I told you I was gonna make a leader out of you because there is a natural progression of him starting out the movie not caring about anyone who is with him to actually,
He getting yes,
yeah,
and he's getting
actually,
that over time.
yeah, and he's getting over time, and the bonds are forming over time. Even though Peacemaker turned out to be a bad guy, he grew into the point where he trusted Bloodsport enough to lead them because when they were going to rescue Harley Quinn, he just asked him. He said, "Are you okay with this?" So he's checking with the guy because now he
Mhm.
trusts his judgment. So you're building that
Yeah.
relationship. You're building his relationship with Ratcatcher too, and then
Mhm.
uh,
And Peace Walker, he exactly what he told you to do. He'll
he,
kill anyone to achieve
he
peace.
yeah.
I was not surprised about that. To me, this was not a twist. This is
He's
Wallace
yeah,
sent him for that reason. Hence
yeah,
why he said, "Why
exactly,
you
and he's
bringing
gonna
someone
do it.
exactly like me? Because he's gonna follow
And
orders."
honestly, yeah, but honestly, those like starting from once he turned on Flag to the end, that was his best. I think that's the best acting I've seen Cena on a big screen on do.
Yes,
Honestly,
yes,
that
yeah, I'll
moment
agree
where
with you.
because you could see that he did not want to kill Rick Flag, but he had to do it.
Yeah, he respect him
He respected
as another
like
fellow
when Rick
soldier.
Flag,
Yes, but
yeah,
yeah,
and when Rick Flair was dying, Rick Flag was dying.
Ric Flair.
Yeah, he had that look on his face like I didn't want to do this. I didn't
Mhm. Just like
I didn't
with
want.
and with Ratcatcher, like you could just destroy the drive. Why you gotta kill me? And he just like, I like to be
I'm
Thor.
Thor.
See,
Yeah,
oh,
it's just
exactly. See,
it's how he's wired. He's crazy. He knows he's crazy. He just like yeah, I'm gonna.
exactly. I
I
gotta
like
do
to
what I
be
gotta do.
yeah because I go flat because I think in his mind he's also thinking like no one needs to know this drive exists. So Ratcatcher's gonna tell Dubois, Bloodsport, and who knows what he's gonna do. Of course, Bloodsport showed up anyway, so but yeah, he said I like to be thought when he didn't want to kill her. You could see that on his face. It's kind of
Yes.
weird because
Mm-hmm.
it's the most comedic roles that Cena had, but it had the most dramatic acting that he ever had. I don't know how that like James. Wow, that chalk that up to maybe the genius of James Gunn to be able to bring out of
Yeah.
his
And
actors.
the one thing I only hate about John Cena is when he say cuss words or do something because it's so you see him on TV every day as John Cena. It was hard to separate John Cena and Peacemaker, even in the
Mm,
underwear. I'm just thinking, and to me, that's when he make his best roles when he's outside of that John Cena
yeah,
comfort zone, and that's when he make his good and
and
stuff. So it's
yeah,
like, yeah,
it's kind of like yeah, it's still shocking like because when you said unless what they're showing up is dope as and when Bloodsport said no one likes to show up, well unless what they're showing up is dope as fuck, and he just he hung on
but
that fuck for like a second.
uh-huh.
And you're like
Like
oh my god,
yeah, you don't expect John Cena to be
and,
saying stuff like
and
that.
yeah,
See,
yeah, and you're watching this and you're like and we're cursing. Okay,
exactly. See,
no
exactly.
the
Oh,
whole
and
yeah
that whole scene I thought was great too, because
that I
again,
think that might be my favorite scene of them trying to one up each other. Wow.
I just like it because they didn't hesitate. All of like string, and that's what they did because they a bunch of they super villains, and they just ran right through women, men. They didn't even try to attack y'all, and y'all still going. See what I mean?
Like
So I
that,
kind of
there,
figured that,
the one guy
yeah,
was the one guy was chilling in the bathtub for God's sake.
exactly.
He didn't
See,
even
and I'm
shoot him
thinking like,
he didn't shoot him in the head. He shot the table, so the guy gets electrocuted by the fan. It's like,
it's
God damn.
exactly. See, and I'm thinking like these must be rebels because no one's attacking them, and them like. Okay. And that's when you find out. They look like, oh, yeah, we just murdered your whole people. Oh, yeah, yeah, we did
And
that.
I know it's like a very MCU-esque humor, but when they said I didn't see any people, I just lost it laughing.
Exactly. We just murdered them all.
Like it's like no, there were people out there. And having
So,
Cena and Bloodsport, Peacemaker and Bloodsport both go for the same thing, like build on off of each other. That was good.
yeah. So, Grit. That's all. It's funny I would say the movie had grit. That's
The movie had
the
great.
edge.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you feel this? I was absolutely heartbroken when Polka Dot Man died. I was like, I don't know if you. I
Me
was like,
too.
he
Me
was like,
too.
"I'm a superhero." He was so happy.
Then I
Boom. But honestly,
and same thing.
the moment I said it, oh no, he's gonna die. And 2 seconds later, splat. It's just
Me and my wife felt that way for King Shark when he fell out the building and they started
yeah.
shooting on him and stuff. I'm like, oh god, not King Shark. He didn't,
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're gonna give him
I'm
this
like, no, he's
dramatic.
got tough skin, so the bullets don't bounce off and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm like,
I was
glad
thinking,
King
oh, that's gonna be dramatic. They're gonna give him
Shark.
that dramatic death, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh. But
'Cause
then
I
again,
knew.
go ahead.
Because I heard that he had total permission to kill anybody off, and I'm like, with that
Yeah,
big cast, some people was gonna die. Not in the fashion I thought it was gonna happen, but it makes total sense how
I
that stuff
honestly,
works. So
I didn't
the
think,
only person I
yeah,
thought was safe was only Harley.
Harley, yeah,
Only because they still might want to do one more, but
because
they could have pulled the rug on her and killed her. They could
they
have
could have,
killed her too.
they could have went
So,
prequel. Which, incidentally, I thought
yeah.
once I saw Peacemaker died, I thought, oh, well, I guess the show's gonna be a prequel now.
Then after credits,
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
thought too. And I'm like, I thought it'd be yeah.
I'm
Right,
glad I
so
stayed till the end. It's and honestly, this might be the best use of
I
Harley
love
in the
Waller.
DCU.
Right? Yeah. I told one person who didn't like the Birds of Prey only because they thought they kind of she didn't like the movie. They didn't like the vision of Harley is because she liked Harley because Harley's supposed to be independent on her own. She didn't like the whole thing that once she broke up with the Joker, she kind of lost herself and everything like that. And I'm
Well,
like,
I
well,
mean,
this
yeah,
redeems
but
all
to be
that. Don't have
fair,
to worry
Birds of
about
Prey was about her finding herself as a strong, independent woman. It's literally called the emancipation of
Oh,
Harley
of course.
Quinn.
Of course. That's what I tried to explain to her that you have to watch the whole thing. Like, no. It can't be. She can't be all this about a dude. I'm like, I'm kind of. They did that in
And
Suicide Squad also. So, yeah.
yeah, and honestly, has anyone read the comics or seen the game? Like, her whole character is based on her obsessing over Mr. J.
I know. That's no. Most people who are into Harley don't read the comics. No,
Yeah.
I have to tell her because she didn't understand why. Because like, well, told like Suicide and Harley Quinn are not linked together. They are, but they not really. Because she thinking, why did he? If he doesn't love her, why did he break out of jail and get it? Because he's the Joker.
He does
Doesn't
not.
care. She's just
Because
a toy. She's just an item.
he likes having her around, but he does not love her. He's just like, she boosts my ego.
Exactly. She's easily
I can use her. I can use her. That's his thought process.
Exactly. And the fourth point, did you pay attention to Suicide Squad? Yeah. Did you see when he drove the car, he swam away. He saw that she was stuck, but he got away. Like, that tells you that he doesn't really care for her. She's obsessed with him. It's not the other way around. But anyway, that's on like this. They don't pay attention. But no, I like the opening.
The opening was crazy.
Yeah.
And I
like.
I'm
looking at this team. This team's kind of whack. Like, what? I'm trying to piece together. Like, so where the other half come in?
I went with two friends, and I'm thinking, okay, if this is the starter squad, and they're gonna send the other guys after, I'm like, and I'm telling my friend next to me, I'm just like, I think at least half of these guys are gonna die, which turned out all of them except for two.
Exactly. Cause I'm thinking like, this is a weird bunch of people, and what are they gonna do? And it's weird they brought Flag and Harley to that. And I'm like, okay.
And Boomerang. I thought Boomerang was gonna make it to the end. I was like, or at least die midway. I think Boomerang.
No, I think
Boomerang dying is, I think, what cemented that everyone's fair game in this. It signaled that. It's
because they didn't talk. A lot of people wasn't talking about Boomerang. You don't see Michael J. saying anything with Jay Courtney. So I'm thinking he's not much in this movie. That's what I had a feeling. I was like you. He's probably gonna die halfway, but you didn't see a lot of him. You only see him when he's walking in trailers and stuff like that.
It's honestly it's a big death. It's like if you're familiar with the Suicide Squad comics or animation or anything, like Boomerang is basically the OG Suicide Squad guy. He's like, like if you're gonna talk about the definitive member for Suicide Squad, that's Boomerang. He's
To me, it was just to show you that we are continuing from this movie, but then we're
but
going
we're
to
also
destroy this
but we're
movie.
also moving on. Like I read
Yes,
this
yeah,
article today that this movie, The Suicide Squad, is basically DC seven or Warner Brothers, the DC severing ties with the with the Snyderverse for good.
yes,
Nothing is left
yeah.
there.
And that would make sense why Snyder fans are upset at James Gunn.
Yeah,
Because I was telling Justice
yeah,
Auger they review bomb the movie and stuff.
yeah. When you
I
said they
I
review
get
bombed the movie,
why.
I was like after I saw it, I was like, and read the article, I was like, yeah, I guess, yeah,
Yeah.
they're pissed.
'Cause I get DC fans, but this ain't Zack Snyder fans. Like, what this got to do with Zack Snyder? And I'm like, oh, now it makes sense now.
It just
It should. It should. It should tear all the ties. And one thing I like about the movie, there was no WB DC hook of Batman's in this or Superman. You
yeah,
might see Aquaman and
they did not rely on the big guns at all, which is awesome. They could have just had the only thing they did is just a passing remark about this guy putting Superman in the hospital.
and they had to do that to explain to you why he's a badass. To
Yeah,
me, that's why they did that. This is
yeah.
why he's a badass. Yeah,
Which I learned afterwards is actually something from the comics. It's he actually
yeah,
that's Bloodsport's character. That's his only claim to fame is he shot a kryptonite bullet at Superman and hit him.
yeah. See, so we can't use Deathshot, which everybody familiar with. So we got to give this man some
Yeah,
credit
what?
and stuff.
Yeah,
So
honestly, it was a good replacement. A lot of people, I don't know, there's a lot of people that bagged on Idris Elba in this movie. I saw a few reviews, but he was good. I mean, like he was,
it was good. They knocked on Elvis.
yeah,
Dangerous. I
yeah.
mean,
A little bit said that Idris Elba did not do this justice or so, but like
oh, I
it's
think he was
Idris Elba.
great.
He played it perfectly, and Idris Elba has some sort of a way of like playing stuff cool that makes you feel that he's not even trying to act, but he is acting it well. Like if he's doing
Yeah.
it naturally, why does he have to try hard? It's just
Exactly, and sorry, I'm not the biggest Will Smith fan, but he was 10 times better than Will Smith. But like you said, it's Will Smith being Will Smith, and that's my
it's
only negative critique about him. Every movie he in, he's just Will Smith. I
it's
can see this
unless yeah, I mean like he can act, but he usually just goes back onto this. There's a number
thing.
of guys like that. Ben Affleck is the same way. It's
Yes,
not necessarily in the DCEU, but a
yeah,
lot of his movies
because
like
like me,
it's Ben Affleck being Ben Affleck.
exactly,
Uh,
or he's making the role into himself, and that's why it doesn't work and stuff.
yeah.
So,
And
um,
somehow a lot of people said Robert Downey Jr. was doing the same thing for Iron Man, but I don't know.
oh no, no,
I don't think so.
no,
It's honestly Robert Downey Jr. before being the Tony Stark or so, his roles were like completely obscure. There was nothing like this laid back character that.
no. To me, he was the most. Not exactly. No one could be actually perfect, but he was damn near almost good as an actual real life Tony Stark. That's how I
Yeah,
feel Tony Stark would be that
yeah.
way. Stuff like that.
He was honestly more Tony Starkish than comic books Tony Stark, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah. 'Cause what you do with someone you can clearly just shoot with a bullet, point blank. He's not superhuman, just very smart, very rich, and got a lot of tech.
yeah,
He act like he's fucking Superman. That's Tony Stark's right there. So there you
yeah,
go. So yeah, I don't
yeah.
regret it either. But anything else I like I told you before, I like his unknown characters because by having unknown characters,
You have
you can put
carte
your own
blanche to do
spin
what
on them.
you can do whatever you
Yes,
want. It's
yes, yes.
and
You can put your own spin on it because I'm like,
yeah,
like everybody's saying now, they don't want to see a Peacemaker thing. They want to see a Bloodsport series because they like Bloodsport. And the only reason you like Bloodsport because you seen him in the movie. So
yeah,
he's not like you someone you can see like, no, that's not really Bloodsport. He acts
because
like this.
yeah, because honestly, all those characters in the comics, I think, except for Harley and Boomerang and Flag, are kind of schlubs. They're not
Yeah,
big characters. Even Bloodsport is not that tough of a character in the comics. Peacemaker is out there, but Peacemaker is like a very unused character apparently. It's
hmm
that shot, oh god, that shot of him just holding the axe and the guy who's sleeping and he just grinds him up as he's walking.
I know. See,
That's
exactly,
what
and
that was
and
like brutal and funny at the same time. I was like, whoa, shit. Good.
yes. So, and I
Yeah.
like eat all the dicks on the island. Yes, I will eat up all.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's what make it works. So I don't, and by me, I heard of them, those characters. Have I read not all of them. So when I'm seeing what I'm seeing, I'm absorbing it.
Yeah.
Like if it was like the Justice League, I got my arms folded. Like this
I
is not
mean,
how it's
like,
supposed to be. This is not how it's
yeah,
supposed to
like
be.
you have preconceived notions about how those characters should turn out. Now,
Yes.
believe it or not, I had that same thing about Guardians of the Galaxy because I had read their whole run up to the Thanos Imperative before that, and I was like, and for some reason I loved Guardian of the movie, but I was like, Drax should be, but I'm always thinking in the comics, Drax is pissed off at Thanos. And then Drax's race should be focused on Thanos instead of being focused on Ronan the Accuser.
Mm.
Which Ronan the Accuser in the comics is a big baby face, after the first couple of appearances. And I'm like,
Mm.
and I couldn't get past that in my head because I was thinking in my head that the whole identity of Drax hinges on him wanting to kill Thanos. If you read the Guardians of the Galaxy before the movie came out, all the way up until Thanos is resurrected, and then Drax actually kills him.
Mm.
And I'm like, and this kind of took away from the enjoyment for me for a bit because I had this thing in my mind, and that thing in my mind did not happen.
Mm.
But for Suicide Squad, I know nothing about any of these people.
Exactly.
Go on.
I heard names.
Yeah.
I heard about the Rat Catcher. Heard about Polka Dot Man. 'Cause
Yeah,
you can't
a
help
lot
but
of
to
the
hear about
names is
Polka Dot
like
Man.
a lot of the names. Oh, I heard that name before, but then you go
Yeah. So
TDK.
TDK? No.
I think now, also I've read this up today. It's TDK had a different name in the comics. Apparently, it's like arm slinging man or something like that. Which
Yeah. But the disarmed.
the disarmed, yes.
Yeah,
It's
disarmed
like,
kid's good.
and but all the James Gunn can actually get away with this stuff and make it look cool. Of the arms that's just floating and that intense music, and then just a slap fist.
Yeah. And stuff like that. And he can just easily be shot, so you think he'd be better doing
It's
that.
like
And
yeah,
so
you think those guys with those arms would be sneaky, but no, he just goes up to them and just slaps. And Waller was perfect because there's low key. This is that opening scene set up Waller to be like the biggest bad guy in the in their DCU because she sent those guys knowing they're gonna die, all of them.
Oh, I love Viola Davis' portrayal of Waller.
Yeah.
This is a story about Waller. I did not know anything about Waller until I saw Justice League Unlimited.
Mm.
That was my first time seeing her. I'm like, who this person is, and blah blah blah. And I earned her respect when she just basically punked out Batman. And like, I know who you are. It's like I know about your.
Yeah.
It's what they did in the Suicide movie that she did in the anime thing. She like, don't come at me, rich boy. And I'm like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
This is a bad woman here. And so I'm like, over time, I grew to be a fan of her because again, he's human. Is a woman, so she knows that she's dealing with supervillains and superheroes
And
all the time, but
she's
she
not
never
phased
backs
yet.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not phased out. So
And she's kind of like she has the same mentality as Peacemaker, but she's more extreme and she's more focused, I guess. Less of a psychopath.
Mhm.
She's like, this has to be done, whatever it takes.
Exactly. It's clear because they kept on with something like, you really gonna put her daughter in jail? Like, I done worse things. But you think yes, like again, she killed her whole team. Now that's what I thought she was gonna do after they hit her though. Like, oh, y'all need to run.
Yeah.
But like, okay, she does care just a little bit. That's the difference, like you said. That's the difference between her and Peacemaker. She does care because she could have just killed them all right there.
Yeah. I mean, like she
You know,
does care, but she does stuff that she knows it has to be done. Like it's a last resort type of thing. And it's the
exactly.
whole idea of like, well, if I don't if I don't deliver on my promises, then no one's gonna take this seriously. So even though it's harmless for them to actually fight Starro after the mission is completed, an example has to be made. You don't disobey. You don't go rogue. That's her.
You don't disobey orders. That's what your whole
Yeah,
thing. You don't
yeah,
disobey orders. hmm With the whole Star Wars thing, they're like, we'll just nuke the land. You know, we'll nuke it. Basically, see, and we'll be heroes. Not that we caused it, but there you go. We'll save it. That to me, that was probably what they did. It's like, just nuke the island, kill everybody. As simple
yeah,
as that. Just nuke it and stuff like that. As long as they don't know that we started all this, we'll be okay. So yeah, I thought she was great. I liked the whole thing with her and Bloodsport. Like she
yeah,
didn't phase, she didn't move. Like he ain't gonna kill me. I'm not gonna do
yeah. And honestly, that whole
that.
thing with her and Bloodsport, like, if that makes you even like think about like how much of a Deadshot surrogate he is, if you mentioned the animation movies, the a lot of the what was like dragging that animated movie along was her talking to Deadshot directly, and that's what they did here.
Mhm.
They made her just communicate through Bloodsport, and that's honestly more than the original movie. This felt that whole thing of her just barking orders into his earpiece, that's what felt like classic Suicide Squad to me. It's
Mhm. We could just call him he was Deadshot, but they just had to give him another one with someone gun. And again,
yeah,
I thought he was cool because he makes his own weapons and stuff
yeah,
like
like
that.
the
Yeah,
outfolding weapons and the whole thing, and the first shot of him in action is him just taking out that mini bow in his arm, which was amazing,
I know,
and just
and I love the helmet and Elvis' voice over it, and it's
and
just
yeah,
yeah,
and that skull at the bottom.
yeah,
It's a dope ass helmet, honestly. It's
yes, yes. So yeah, it was
it's not a beacon
it
of
was good. It was
freedom
good.
like Peacemaker's helmet, but
The toilet seat.
yeah,
So I mean, like Ratcatcher, because you gotta think what the hell you're gonna do with rats. But I know what you can do with rats, but I like
mm.
how they slowly
And it's like,
went up to that.
and again, it's like it's not like the Rat King. Well, it is kind of like the Rat King from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stories.
hmm
But
It's
it's the
more
whole idea on a big
grounded,
scale that, huh? Yeah, it's
more grounded with his technology. While the Rat
yeah,
King
it's
just he has this thing with
he
them mentally, stuff
he
like
has
that.
mystic
Yeah,
powers. In
yeah.
the current comic book runs for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's like this demigod type of thing that he's like just can control
Makes
Splinter
sense.
at the drop of a hat and do whatever. But then again, this one was good, and I marked out for Taika Waititi doing a cameo on this. Honestly, I was
Everybody from Marvel was doing cameos in this.
yeah. It's like he's not a guardian. Yeah, he's not a Guardians of the Galaxy per se type of cameo because he's
Oh,
well, not until they do the Thor 4 thing. But it was
mhm.
good seeing him there. I was like, well, I'm like, and that shot of like the flashbacks being on the windows, that was great.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, like everybody, because y'all start naming like y'all forgot to say Michael Roker.
Yeah, Michael Roker. Yeah,
Also,
no, well, I didn't
yeah,
want to say. I didn't want to say Michael Roker because well, I could have said it because he's just right there in the opening shot. But
yeah, and I knew he was in there because you
yeah,
see him in trailers.
and
They did
Sean,
that well, where they showed you the first team as the majority of the trailer, and then they implement certain scenes with them,
yeah,
make you think, okay, they sent the whole team there. Something bad happened. This is the rest of the team, or whatever happens. They rescuing people and
yeah,
stuff. They did it perfectly
yeah, they
and
did better.
stuff.
And Sean Gunn was actually they had two roles in this movie. That's so
Yes.
did so did Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi actually voiced Starro apparently.
Oh, see. Then of course Palm was in there because soon as I saw like, hey, that look
Um,
like Mantis. Like I don't know if that's from
yeah, it's like
saying like
it
no.
takes you
No.
a second. It takes you a second because she doesn't have the makeup on her. But yeah, that's what.
Yeah, but that's the one he was saying. Like no one there to say anything because I'm like probably only knows her as Mantis. So it's when you look at her, you're just thinking, oh, she's just some dancer. There's nothing
It's a
important and
blink.
stuff like that.
It's a blink and you miss it type of cameo. That's the whole thing.
Like Lord Kaufman, I did not even see him till Joe said something. Lord
Yeah.
Kaufman was in there. Like, oh, okay. You see, and he was in Guardians, so everybody from Marvel's in it. That's what you do.
I mean, like
Yeah.
James Gunn, I guess is notorious for like trying to get his same people on everything. Because
Mhm.
I can't remember if Batista said this or something else, but apparently Batista was gonna have like one of those small fodder things, but he was doing the Army of the Dead thing. Not the Army of the
Mhm.
what's the movie called?
No, you
Uh,
said Army of Dead.
Army of the Dead, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. So, but no, it was good. And DC wants to do more movies, and that's my one fear. That's my one fear. We be like, yeah, we got to win in Florida. We want all our movies to be like this now. Thanks, James Gunn.
It's
That's
yeah.
Superman.
I don't know. Like I think it's the problem is DC. If they just keep everything separate, they're good for now. If Aquaman is not with these guys, because I think Aquaman delivered on its own pretty damn well, honestly. And the only thing I can say that maybe a connection is maybe put King Shark in Aquaman for us.
Outlaw, Macho, Drive In.